I'd like to invite Mayor Mike Davis to come up and give us a little, I don't know what you're going to say. Mike Davis.
Thanks, Stacey. I was told, keep it short, so I will try. I will try.
You told Ellen that.
I'm short.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much coming. You know, the DHA and the people we're honoring tonight, and the people that are involved in all these organizations that we have during the year are really the key to the success of our city, and why we do so well as a city, and why people want to live here, and why people want to move here. So I applaud the DHA. I so much appreciate what you guys do. You were the de facto government long before we became a government, and we hope that you guys will all stick around. The DHA will remain. Before I get into my talk, I was getting a lot of emails this past week. All of us on City Council were getting a lot of emails about a subdivide in Dunwoody Forest. And I just wanted to tell you, we hear you. So if you've been sending emails, we've heard it. It will be an interesting process we have to go through. I'm not sure how it's all going to work out, but for those of you who aren't aware of it, there's a piece of property that is being proposed to be divided from one lot into two, and the neighbors, from what I've heard so far, are not thrilled. So we will be going through our due diligence and the process that we have to go through. But trust me, we heard you, and we're very well aware of what's going on, and just want to let you know about that. In order to keep this short, I decided really wanted to talk about a couple different projects that are going on here in Dunwoody. The first one is really all about our Project Renaissance in Georgetown. If you recall, back when the economy turned and the developer went bankrupt in the Georgetown area in what became lovingly known as the Pike Farm, the city went ahead and bought that property at a pretty severe discount in bankruptcy. If you recall, the property had been sold originally for about $1.1 million per acre. We paid a little less than $300 an acre for it. And we bought it, and this last couple of years, the City Council has moved forward in order to turn that into 4 different parks, and we've teamed up with John Wheeland and have started building houses. And if you've driven by there recently, actually the houses are starting to come out of the ground. The parks have already come out of the ground and will be ready pretty soon, but houses are starting to come out of the ground. And a lot of the naysayers are telling us nobody would buy those houses, they wouldn't sell for less than $250. Well, I heard that the one house that's now coming out of the ground is a bidding war, and it's up to $620 right now. So, there'll be 105 houses total built there, 4 parks, adding up to, I think, about 21 acres of parks. If you've driven by there, there's a Tot Park, there's going to be a Central Park, and we're going to build an area with just big fields and basketball courts, and then a natural area. And we will eventually connect that into Brook Run and the 2 miles of trails that we're building in Brook Run. So a lot of good things are happening, and Georgetown will now be connected into Brook Run, and will slowly connect the entire city through these trails. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was Dunwoody Village Parkway. Dunwoody Village Parkway has been a little bit of a controversial product that we're working on, but I wanted to tell you about what's going on. The new cities in the metro area have one thing in common, a lot of things in common, but one thing in common that I'm thinking of right now is that none of them have what you would define as a city center, as a place where everybody considers to be their city center. We're like that too. The interesting thing for the city of Dunwoody is that we have an interesting road that runs through the village called Dunwoody Village Parkway. It actually connects 2 of our main roads and is very little used. So the good news is that we, unlike the other cities that we look around in this area at, we actually have a road that makes perfect sense to become our new city center. And as you know, we've just started the project. We will be working on this. Hopefully it'll be done in time for the parade, July 4th. We're really counting on good weather, right, Warren? That's really the key. Good weather will get it done in time for the parade, and we will have ourselves a new downtown street with businesses wanting to locate along the sidewalk. We'll have sidewalks, new trees, park benches, lights, and a walkable area that people can enjoy. So that's what I really wanted to leave you with, was we have a lot of great things happening in Dunwoody, and we're really excited. And I want to invite you to participate and get involved in it. And my final thing was March 6th, put this on your calendars, is the State of the City address that I'll be giving at the Crown Ravinia that evening. So come on down. We have, I think in the last couple of years, we've had 500-600 people come down to and listen to it. And it's a great event. It's catered, it's fabulous, and it's free. So come on down. Thanks for listening to it. Thanks.
On to our Community Service Awards. This person is the outgoing, well, he was the outgoing president last year. Bill Grossman has been an invaluable asset to our community for years. He single-handedly started Food Truck Thursdays. I email him once or twice a week with questions. He has all the time in the world to answer questions about zoning and everything else. And Bill, your service to the Dunwoody Homeowners Association and City of Dunwoody has just been invaluable. Thank you, and please come on up.
Thank you. This actually was a surprise. And I really don't have anything to say.
Well, as Mike said, we have lots of great organizations in this city, and in addition, we also have great people that serve this community, and I'm here to present an award to our outgoing council member, Dr. Adrian Bonser. Dr. Adrian Bonser has been a member of our community for over 20 years, and over 6 years ago, she started serving our community by joining Dunwoody Yes. She served on the board of directors there, and they were successful. We got 80% vote for cityhood. I'm very proud we're a city, and I want to keep us moving forward. She was also one of our original city council members. She was part of the Government Service Committee, which worked on service contracts and city vendors, and some which we are still using today. She served on the Dunwoody Elementary School Committee, which assisted in the naming and their mascot, as well as their school colors. She's been involved in as financial supporter in the community of the Dunwoody Preservation Trust and the Dunwoody Nature Center as well. She's currently a DHA ex officio member. Her civic involvement has been key to our city's success, and the citizens of Dunwoody really appreciate citizens like you. Thank you, Dr. Bonser. We really appreciate it. The DHA would like to give you this.
Just one more.
The rookie.
Facebook. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. He is the chair of the Dunwoody Parents for Quality Education. I'm sorry, I always get that wrong. So good update.
Good afternoon, everybody. As most of you know, Tom Taylor has embarked on an effort to allow municipalities that have formed since 2005 and those cities that border them the ability to start their own school system. This is an effort designed to solve an incredibly serious problem we have, and that is that we happen to live in a county with a completely dysfunctional school system. 5 superintendents over more than a decade have attempted to turn it around, and all have failed miserably. Deconsolidation is the best opportunity we have to improve the education for all of the students in Dunwoody who are committed to public education. So, the City of Dunwoody funded a feasibility study to look at whether or not Dunwoody could form its own school system, whether it would have the financial resources to do so, and to estimate what the impact on DeKalb County would be if such a school system came into existence. It will not come as a surprise to you that we have the financial resources to do this, right? If you take what we pay to DeKalb County today, plus what we would be receiving in state and federal funds, a Dunwoody school system would have revenue of just under $80 million. If we were to spend on education what DeKalb spends today, which, by the way, was an incredibly difficult thing to tease out. DeKalb works really hard at not making it clear how much they spend in any area or in any school.
Really?
They don't want people saying, well, it's not fair, you spent more over here than you did over there. So they classify expenses in a way that obscures that. And I don't blame them, right? Because you know, and frankly, the city of Dunwoody doesn't go out and say to this subdivision how much they spent in that subdivision versus this other subdivision for the same sorts of reasons, right? You really want to figure out what your problems are and you want to solve them without having to have a balance scale for every decision that you make. But regardless, we have been able to determine what DeKalb spends here in Dunwoody. It's a little less than what they spend system-wide, which again shouldn't come as a great surprise. We have only one Title I school. Right? And there are many other areas of the county that have many more Title I schools, many more special programs for disadvantaged kids, and they should be spending more in those areas. So we shouldn't feel like there's a problem with their level of spending, but now that we've established what it is, we know that we can spend that amount of money, and given the revenue that we would have, we'd end up with about a $30 million surplus on an annual basis. So there is an opportunity for us to fund the school system should we be given the opportunity to create one. Now there's two things I need to say here. One is, and I was sitting with somebody before the meeting who lives in Sandy Springs and who said, well, I'm all for you guys. I hope you get your school system. And that is, that's a problem for us because this really isn't about Dunwoody. It is as much about Sandy Springs as it is about Dunwoody or Chamblee or Doraville or Brookhaven or any of the cities in primarily the northern part of the city, the metro area, who would be interested in having their own school system. The idea is not just that Dunwoody should have its own school system, but that municipal school systems in many places make sense. Decatur is the poster child for this, right? Decatur's a small city with a very diverse, both economic and racially diverse population who manages to graduate an enormous percentage of their kids. The city of Marietta has their own school system that has been incredibly successful. They've won tons of awards, they have graduation rates, they have SAT scores. There are opportunities for us to do at the schoolhouse what we've done in City Hall, which is to recognize that smaller is often better. And that where in private business you get economies of scale, in governments what you get is bureaucracies. And so the goal is to create a system that would allow cities to form school systems. Dunwoody, I hope, would be one of the early adopters of that, but certainly not the only recipient of that ability. For that to happen, we have a political process we have to go through, and it's going to make creating a city look like child's play. To create a city, really all we had to do was two things. We had to get 50% of the legislature to give us the right to vote, and then we had to have a local election where we voted to become a city. For the ability to create our own school system, we've got to run a much tougher gauntlet. First, we have to get 2/3 of a majority in the State House and the State Senate. So 50% is easy. 2/3 is a huge mountain to climb. Then we have to have a statewide referendum to modify the Georgia Constitution